Have you ever thought the game is rigged against you? You're probably not wrong. Matter of fact, the game is rigged against you, and it's gonna get rigged even more. With artificial intelligence and all this automated trading, how can you actually beat the markets? You can't. So what do? Well, you just get in line, you do what they tell you to do, you be a good employee and put the money into a 401k because they give you a match, and oh, God forbid, you don't get that tax deductible deposit you can put in your 401k. Everything you are doing with your money is rigged against you. No, God! The reason for that is because of what you've been taught. You've been taught to give up control of your money. You've been taught to give control to the banks, give control to the Wall Street folks. And by doing that, you have been part of a game that has been rigged against you and rigged for them the entire time. But there's a silver lining to this. You can actually get ahead of it. You can be in control of your money. You can actually do the same thing that Wall Street and the bigwigs, the hedge funds, you can join them and do the same thing they do by changing just a few simple things. You can do anything you want because if you can believe it and you can dream it, then you can achieve it. You probably have heard of that one in a book called Think and Grow Rich. But today in this episode, I'm gonna tell you how to be in control of your money. I'm gonna tell you how you can take the leap to the outside, be ahead of the game, and do the same thing that the market makers, the hedge funds, and all the big money folks, the wealthy folks, do every single day. And you can do it too. My name's Chris Naugle, and this is What Now, What's Next. So you're probably thinking after hearing that intro, what is all this about? Is this some thing I gotta buy? Is this some course? No and no. This is the way you think and the things that you do. And that's all you need to do. You need to change the way you think. Yes, that's gonna be difficult because your whole life, you've been taught money works a specific way. You've been taught from a young age that what you gotta do is you gotta go out and work hard, you gotta hustle, you gotta trade hours for dollars. And if you wanna make more money, well, you gotta work the overtime and you gotta work the weekends and you gotta climb the corporate ladder by doing the things that, well, sometimes you just don't wanna do. But you know what? That isn't the path. I'm not saying you don't have to work hard. I'm not saying you don't have to hustle, but you have to hustle for an end goal. If you're gonna hustle early, don't hustle late. And what I mean by that is, as you're hustling, as you're trading your hours for dollars, early on in your life, no matter where you're at, what you should start doing is learning to keep some of the money that you make. But you know what? Society doesn't teach you to do that. Society teaches you to make more, spend more. Make more, spend more. Think of the movie Fight Club and the Tyler Durden quote, "We work jobs we hate to buy things we don't need to impress people we don't even like." Does that sound anything like what you've done? Because I know I did that. Let me take you back in time. A little moment, actually a good moment of my life. You see, I'll never forget this morning. It was cold, it was foggy, it was raining out. But a few weeks earlier, I had become a professional snowboarder, a long-standing dream of mine. And as I stand here at the bottom of a mountain in New Hampshire, I'm filled with excitement. I'm filled with anticipation. I'm about to live out my dream of becoming a professional snowboarder. And right now, I'm getting ready to embark on my first professional snowboard contest. So I figured I want to be the first one on the lift. And as I sit there in that cold, foggy, drizzly morning, listening to the rain beat off my jacket and feeling it roll down my goggles and across my cheek, I hear the roar in the distance of the lift come to life. It's go time. I'm the first one on the lift. I'm going up, and all that excitement and the thoughts of what's gonna happen today and how I'm gonna make my mark amongst the greatest snowboarders in the world, all that's going through my entire body, and I'm pumped. I'll never forget, I come up out of the fog over a knoll, and I look over to my left, and I see this thing. Now all that excitement and all that joy, it's now gone. And now I'm filled with fear, the greatest sense of fear, because that thing that I just saw is the largest jump I've ever seen in my life. And at first, when I glanced at it, I thought, there's no way that's the jump we're going to be hitting. But deep down, I knew it was. So as I'm getting closer to the top, fear is building inside of me. I literally started to think to myself, maybe when I get to the top, I'll just lift my board up and I'll just go around and ride the lift back down because, hey, I'm the rookie. Nobody's going to miss me. But I get to the top and my board hits the snow, and I stand up. The next moment, I'm standing at the top of the in-run down to this monster jump, and I'm staring at this thing. The face of the jump probably stood 30 feet off the snow. And some other riders had started to show up, and as I glanced at them, I could see that they were scared too. You ever been in a group of people where everybody's scared? You can just sense it. You don't even need to know it. You just feel the fear. Well, I felt that this morning. And as I'm looking down at the jump, I'm realizing I'm gonna have to hit this thing. And I'm thinking if I go too fast at that jump and I take off, I could overshoot the entire landing and fall from 30 to 40 feet straight out of the sky. That would be like jumping out of a 2 or 3 story building. Let me know what happens when you hit the ground. Same idea. But if I take a couple speed checks up to the jump to slow down, I could hit that lip and not have enough speed to carry me over the landing, and it's the same thing. Right into the backside of the jump. Blown knees, I've been there and I've done that. As snowboarders, we always have to pick the one. The one that's gonna hit the jump first. It's usually done with a game of Rochambeau. And wouldn't you know it, me, the rookie, gets chosen as the one. But really the one is just the guinea pig that gets to hit the jump. So I'm standing there looking down at this jump, again, filled with fear, not even wanting to hit it, not thinking I can even hit this thing, because I'd never hit a jump this big. The starter actually tells me I can go at will. I didn't hear him the first time. But when he says it again, we're ready, you can go. I heard him that time. And I remember taking what seemed like the breath that never ended. And I leaped. And the next thing I heard was pure silence, but I heard... And that was the sound of my board leaving this monster takeoff. And at that very moment, the second my board left that lip, fear was gone. At that moment, instinct kicked in. I'd hit jumps hundreds and hundreds of times, and this was no different. It was like a bird getting kicked out of its nest. When it's going down, it just somehow knows to flap its wings and fly. Well, I too knew how to fly, and boy did I. The next thing is, I rode away, perfectly landed, and at that very moment, fear was nowhere in sight. Nowhere in my body was I scared. All I could feel is that excitement, that energy to get up to the top, to do this trick and that trick. Folks, I tell this story because it's no different for you in your day, in your life, and in whatever it is you're pursuing. You must leap, because you are destined to do great things. You are destined to live your dreams, live your perfect day. But if you don't leap, if you don't take that action and overcome fear, you will never witness your dreams. You will never do anything different, and you will continue to live the same life you're living now. It will be like Groundhog Day every day. So the next thing we're going to talk about is money. We're going to talk about you taking a leap with me, just like I had to. Away from traditional financial methods, away from the traditional financial knowledge that you've been taught up to this point, which most of it has been a lie to get you to give up control of your money for someone else's gain. And that stops now. So let's dive in. I already told you what you've been taught to do. Trade hours for dollars. Take your hard-earned dollars and spend more as you make more. To buy things you don't need, to impress people you don't like. Not only that, for your savings, the majority of the people that I come in contact and statistically show that they're putting money into traditional financial vehicles, 401ks, brokerage accounts, money markets, and the worst of all of them, the traditional bank. Now, why are those the worst places you can put your money? Number one, because you're giving up control. You are not in control of the outcome. When you put your money in the 401k, what do you know about the 401k? Let me tell you what you probably know. Pretty close to nothing. You might know if it's conservative, moderate, or high risk. Maybe you know if it's a large, a small, or a mid cap. That's probably less than more. And you know that someday you're hoping you're going to be able to retire based on what you're saving. But I want you to really think about what's happening there. by putting money in 401ks, not self-directed IRAs. I am talking about traditional 401ks and traditional IRAs. You're giving up control of your money, and your money is worth the most today. Because of inflation, your money will be worth less in the future. So your dollars are the most valuable they'll ever be today. And by putting them in these vehicles, you lock that money up for 5, 10, 15, sometimes 20 years, depending on how old you are, until you're 59 and a half, the earliest you can take the money out without a penalty. Not only that, let me ask you, are taxes going up or down? Well, they're going up, right? Because they got to pay for this stuff somehow. So you're literally putting it in to get a tax deduction to take it out at a higher tax rate. And also you're going to take out weaker dollars. Folks, I'm just trying to get you to think about what you're doing with your money. You're putting money in a bank account. So why? Why do you do that?
Oh, Chris, it's safe. Oh, it's liquid. I can take it and use it.
Well, let's really talk about what the bank does with that money. You go in and you make a deposit in your bank account. Maybe they pay you 1, maybe it's 3%. It doesn't matter. What are they then doing? They're taking your money and making your money that you work for go to work for them. That's right. They lend that money back out, and they lend that money right back to you for the car, for the mortgage, for all the things you borrow money from the bank. And what are they paying you on that? Let's just go with the high number, 3%. And how much are they charging for the car loan today? Probably 7. And in the middle lies this magic thing called a spread. And you're not getting it, but it's your money, right? Or is it? Because the way I see it is, it's the bank's money because they're in control, and they're the ones that understand how money really works, which is what you need to learn right now. Let's talk about what the wealthy do with money. Yes, they worked hard for the money, but once they had money, once they kept money, once they saved money, they started to make that money go to work for them. Their money went to work for them. They didn't have to rely on trading hours for dollars. And in case you don't know this, your hours are one of the only things you can't get back. That's right. Once you spend that hour, you never get it back. You can always make more money, but it will always come at the cost of your time. And your time is the most precious resource you will ever have. So let's take back control of our time by taking back control of our money and by making our money work for us. So how do we do that? You want to build wealth? Here is step number 1. Stop going out and taking lots of risk. Stop going out and trying to put it all on the line to make a big return and investing in things you don't even understand. You need to invest in things that you know, like, and understand. Are you doing that? If the answer was yes, good for you. But the chances are you're still doing it wrong. Because I know, I meet with people all the time, and the statistics will even show it. I'll give you those in a second. I meet with people all the time. They have money sitting in a bank account, money in money markets, money in the markets, when over on the other side of their budget and their balance sheet are all their liabilities. They got mortgages, money owed to somebody else's bank. They got car loans, money they pay every month to someone else's bank. They have credit card debt that they could pay off, but they don't. And they continue to use the credit cards and make the monthly payments to the credit card companies. I could keep going on. You want to build wealth? We have to start here. So step number 1, you're going to build wealth through your own debts and expenses. And how are we going to do that? You're going to save money over here on the left side. Now, we can save money lots of different places, but let's just keep it in the bank account. But we're not going to keep it there. We're going to take the money as we save it, and we're going to pay down our credit cards from lowest balance to highest balance. So once one of the credit cards is paid down, you paid the lowest credit card balance off. That credit card was charging you 20% interest. And every month you were making a $100 a month payment to the credit card. I'm just making numbers up, but add your numbers to it. Once we pay that credit card off, what you're going to do is you're going to keep making that $100 payment. But who are you going to pay that $100 payment to? That's right, yourself. You're going to take that $100, you're going to set up an automatic bill pay or an automatic transfer, and you're going to have that $100 go to a brand new bank account at a different bank that you don't use every single day, and that money is going to be recycled and recaptured. So every month, the $100 that you used to give away to the credit card is now going to land in a brand new bank account that you set up. And might I just suggest maybe using that new Apple savings account, because it does pay over 4%, but that isn't the final resting place. So now what did you just do? You took the money that you saved, you paid off a credit card, you took the $100 you used to pay the credit card, you put it back into a bank account. How much did you make in doing that? Some of you are thinking, well, you said Apple pays 4%, so I guess I'm making 4. Wrong. You're making the 20% that you used to give away to the credit card. And now you're saving the $100 you used to give away. That's the same as you making 20% in any investment. Now, let me ask you, is 20% a good return on your money? If I ask all of you that, you're gonna say, yes, of course it is. How much risk did it take you to do what I just told you? None. All you did is pay a credit card off. All you did is stopped giving your money away to somebody else, and you took back control. And in doing so, it was the equivalent of making the same percentage you used to give away, and in this case, a 20% credit card. As we start saving that $100 in that segregated bank account that you set up, what you're also doing is you're saving money from your earned income. Now we got the combination of the two. So now, a month, 2 months, 3 months later, when that money builds up, $100 every month from the credit card and whatever you were saving, we combine the two and we pay off the next credit card or even pay it down. Because it doesn't matter. If you pay down a credit card, your monthly payment the next month will be less. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna keep the difference. If you were paying $200 to a credit card, but you pay it down and now you only owe $100, what are you gonna do? You're gonna set up a bill pay and a transfer that for that $100 you were giving away, put it into the segregated account, and now all of a sudden you have $200 working. Do you see how this works? And you're gonna do this over and over until all your debts are paid off. You're gonna put your money where the wealthy put their money. Now, what is that? Well, that's a lot of different things. A lot of wealthy individuals, billionaires and multimillionaires that I have met, what do they buy? Real estate. And some of them don't have time to manage real estate, so they still want to be in real estate. So how they do it is they lend. They become the bank by lending money to other people that are very good at real estate and that need money to scale their businesses. So they become the bank and they lend their money. How much could you make doing that? Well, if you check out privatemoneyclub.com, the community that I created, it's like a dating site for money. People with money meet people that need money, and you can go on there and look at the deals. You will find hundreds of deals, anywhere between 10% interest to as much as, well, just the other day I saw one at 18% interest. Secured? Yes. Buy real estate, a first or a second lien position. So a lot of wealthy people become the bank and lend money, and you can do the same thing. But what else do the wealthy do? Well, they do things like me. They find unique opportunities. So what I have in front of me is a packet for a private hedge fund. You've heard of hedge funds, right? Oh, that's just for the wealthy folks. Is it though? Because this hedge fund is a private hedge fund available to any of you that are accredited investors. The minimum investment into this particular private hedge fund is $100,000. Now, although that might not be a solution for all of you, for some of you, you might have $100,000. Maybe you got an old 401k sitting out there that's got 100 grand. Maybe you just got 100,000 sitting out there. Maybe you got 100 grand in equity sitting in one of your properties. It's time to put that money to work. This is an unbelievable opportunity because this taps into something that most people don't think they have access to, hedge funds. So this hedge fund that I invested in is a Forex fund. What do I mean? Currency. The US dollar, the euro, the yuan, you know currencies, right? The things we use to exchange for goods and services. What this is an algorithmic driven Forex hedge fund. So what does that mean? Well, that means that there's computers using artificial intelligence, AI, to make trades that you and me and everybody you know could never do, because they're picking up on micro gains throughout the day, and they are just chipping off little gains every second of every single day. When the US dollar and the euro exchange or have these, they call it a convergence, they're taking profits. This whole thing explains how it's done. And the beauty is, this is being done by a lot of big money folks, but you could be doing this too. It's trading execution strategies, it's optimization during the right times in the market, and it's also control of the downside. Because hey, that sounds risky, right? The only reason you would think this sounds risky is because you don't understand it. It's not risky at all. You see, they control the downside, and they only can lose 1.3% on any trade. Oh, they can do that. It's called a stop loss, and they do that. So therefore, what have the returns been on this thing? Well, if I just look at my statement right here, for the course of the time that I've been in it, I've made 87%. Now, I know that sounds unrealistic, but folks, the numbers are right here. The numbers that I've made are right there in front of you. You have access to these if you're an accredited investor. But I'm only brushing the surface here. What are some other things that the wealthy do? Well, the wealthy don't use bank accounts the way that you and I do. Although they keep some money in traditional banks, they understand that the bank is always going to win if they keep money in a bank. So they become their own bank and they store a lot of their capital in mutually owned insurance companies called specially designed and engineered whole life insurance products. That's right, that's where my money goes, and that's where my friends, wealthy friends, put their money. But it's the same place you could put your money. But a lot of people are like, why would I put my money in a whole life when I could put my money here and there? Because your money doesn't stay in the whole life. You see, it goes into the whole life, and then we move it out and we put it into something like this private hedge fund. Or we put it into the whole life and we immediately take it out and put it into something like those private loans. Or whatever it is that you know, like, and understand when you're investing. You could take the money and put it into that specially designed whole life and then move it out into anything else, and now you're making money twice. Oh, how twice? Well, when you take money out of a specially designed and engineered whole life, you're not actually taking your money, you're taking a loan from the insurance company's general account. In other words, the insurance company is advancing part of your death benefit, and they're using your cash value in your specially designed whole life as collateral. So if you got 100 grand in cash value, they will allow you to use 100,000 of your death benefit, and they'll just use your money as collateral. So you know what's cool about that? Your money never left your account, which means it earns a guaranteed interest rate, compounding, dividends, compounding, while your money gets to go out and work for you a second time. Those private lending deals, 10 to 18%, paying off your debts, 20+% for those credit cards, 6-7% for those car loans. Are you adding this all up? That private hedge fund that I'm in, 80-some%, and those are just getting warmed up, folks. These returns sound unrealistic, but these returns have always been available to all of us. But you got to take the leap. You got to get out of your comfort zone and get into the zone that the wealthy have been in the entire time. There's a little bit of education that you're going to need to do. You're going to have to get familiar with these things. You're going to have to get around the right people that understand these things. This is your time. This is your moment. This is when you take back control of your money. I just showed you a few little things. The equivalent of the pimple on the elephant's butt. That's all you heard about. There's a whole world right outside your comfort zone, and all you need to do is leap. I hope you enjoyed what we just went over, but now it's time to take action. If you want to learn more about these things that I'm talking about, shoot me a comment right below. But to do that, I'm going to put a requirement. I'm not going to answer anyone's comments unless you have subscribed to my channel. So right now, down below, click the subscribe button and also smash that alerts button so you're notified every time I put a new video. And then shoot me a comment, and I'll give you some insights of what these are, because maybe you're looking for that one change. You're looking to take that leap, and hopefully this video motivated you. So we'll see you on the other side. This is What Now? What's Next? We'll see you next time.